Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to WillCast, the podcast with the potentially most creative name in the world. Thank you for subscribing, commenting, tuning in, listening. Speaking of commenting, today's viewer question is a controversial one. Calisthenics versus weightlifting. Which is better? It's really the question of the ages. It's a controversial one. I would love to hear your guys' opinions and thoughts about that in the comments. Today, I'm really blessed to be joined by Christian Nielsen. How you doing, Chris?
I'm great, thanks. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good myself. I appreciate you coming on. It's an honor because I talked to you on the phone yesterday for like 10 minutes, and I told you that your famous transformation video, which by the way, you have one of the most famous 1-year transformation videos on YouTube. Like, I think it has 25 million views at this point.
Yeah, something like that.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah. And I talked to you and I told you that the same day that I saw this video, I started my own calisthenics journey, which I also told you that it's crazy how much influence that a YouTube video can have on someone. So I guess right off the bat, I want to thank you for inspiring me to start my calisthenics journey.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's always awesome to hear stories like that for people who, still approach me on whether it's DMs or whatever. It's always, pretty amazing to hear something like that, I had some kind of influence in the world.
Yeah, it's fascinating, right? That, the both of us, we live in this small country, Denmark, and yet we have the ability to influence people all around the globe because, it's obviously not just me that has been influenced by this video. As I just said, it has 25 million views. You must have inspired hundreds, if not thousands of people from our little humble country, Denmark, right?
Yeah, probably in some way or another. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. How I really want to know, because you were kind of early in calisthenics, as far as like, right now in the world, calisthenics is really widely spread. A lot of people have opened their eyes for calisthenics and how legit it actually is for not only building muscle, but strength and so on and so forth. But back then, I think, when did you start? 7 years ago?
Yeah, I started working out in 2013, and then I finished my 1-year transformation in 2014 around August, and then I uploaded the video in September. So yeah, that was really back when, calisthenics was in a rising position, if you can say that. And by the way, I know this podcast is a short format, a relatively short format. So if I'm just, I can talk a lot. So anytime, feel free to cut me off if I'm just blabbering on about a point. Yeah, I just want to let you know.
Yeah, that's all good, man. That's all good. But yeah, I was really curious how you started calisthenics because, as you just said, it was on the come up, and not a lot of information was shared about calisthenics back then, right? So how did you start, and how did you gain your information? Because you were obviously really successful with calisthenics right off the bat. Like it really looked like you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, thank you. I became absolutely fascinated with what I saw online from different, individuals and groups like Bar Brothers and Bar Stars and, all those people. They had a great influence on me. And later I had a kind of a fallout with some of them, and that's a completely different story. Maybe we can save that for another time. I was just very inspired with everything I saw in the world of calisthenics, and I always, liked to move in some way. When I was, maybe I was like 11, 12, I was very, very fascinated with parkour. And there's also like a body weight element to that as well. So that really fit me well with the calisthenics rather than traditional weightlifting and all that. I really wanted to learn the skills that I saw, like muscle ups and human flags and all those kind of things. And then at the same time, I was in a situation that I think a lot of young men can relate to when you're probably, 16 around that age, where, many young guys are skinny basically, and they want to put on muscle and look good, to impress girls. And
Yeah.
it's a masculinity thing as well. It's like becoming a man and all those kind of things that goes on in your head when you're 16. And I think that was a lot of the things that really fired it up. So I just, researched a lot and watched a lot of tutorials and all those things. So I spent a lot of time researching, and there was a lot of bad information, I think, and I made a lot of errors. So it was a lot of trial and error, of course. And so I think that answers it.
Yeah. Yeah, information was definitely more scarce back then. I remember you were one of the people I watched for inspiration about calisthenics, and then I think fitness FAQs, you got to know him, right?
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's an OG as well. Austin Dunham, I know you know that guy. You made
we had some contact.
Yeah. Do you talk to any fitness influencers?
It's funny because, it reminds me of, not that I'm a huge Drake fan, but I just heard one of Drake's new songs, like "No Friends in the Industry." It's like I never connected a lot with people in the industry. I never really, I don't know why necessarily. I think I was very selfish back then and just cared about myself a lot back when I was younger. So I definitely changed a lot on that as well. But I don't know. I have some contact with the YouTuber Brownie, if you know him. Stan. He's a great guy. And Austin Dunham. We had some contact, but we haven't been writing in a long time. So yeah, I don't have a lot of contact with other YouTubers.
What about content creators in general? Because I know your content has slightly shifted. You still do workout videos on Calisthenics Unity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on your main channel, it's what would you call it? Commentary?
Yeah. It was important for me to have like a channel where I can just talk about whatever I want to talk about. I think, to take it back a bit, I became basically obsessed with calisthenics and fitness in a very unhealthy way back then, from around 2013 to 2017, something like that. And it had a negative impact on my relations with people and with my ex-girlfriend at the time as well. And when I look back on it, I really regret a lot of things. And then suddenly I, realized all of that, and I just, and I realized a lot of things about the whole fitness community online, which I really didn't like. A lot of, misinformation and a lot of, dishonest influencers and scams going on with, all kinds of supplements, and I don't know.
Yeah,
so it was important for me to take like a step away from the whole fitness community and then kind of look at it from outside. And I felt like some of the parts of it deserved some criticism, and I really wanted to talk about that. So that's kind of what started the commentary part. And then later on it has evolved to other subjects as well, whatever I just want to talk about. But at the same time, it was important for me to, maintain the fitness thing, because that's what I really, strive for.
You're really passionate about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm really passionate about, or at least that's one of my passions, probably the biggest. So that's also why in 2019 I started studying sports science at the university.
I was going to ask you about that,
Yeah, we can get into that. I'll just make a last comment, then you can phrase the question if you have a specific question for it. But I just feel like we're in a time where there's so many influencers, and especially like online coaches and personal trainers and all that, who, they don't really have education. I mean, some of them do. It's not that, but a lot of them, celebrity coaches and all that, they have backgrounds in reality TV and I kind of want to separate myself and get an academic background, and that's also why respect Daniel, the fitness FAQs
Yeah.
guy, because he actually has some education and he's really good, on how do you say, like, knowledgeable on the topic compared to others. So yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the sports science thing. How's that going?
It's going well, thanks. At the moment, I actually have 2 courses right now. It's sports nutrition, pretty hardcore, and coaching and team development is my other course.
Oh, that's really cool.
So we've been through everything from anatomy, biomechanics, and neurophysiology to sports history and sociology courses on sports. And it's been very interesting. It takes a lot of my time, definitely.
I could imagine.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking very much forward to finishing it. Even though I'm enjoying it, it takes a lot of my time from what I want to do on YouTube and other projects I have. So it's really, it's kind of limiting my full potential, but I feel like in the long term, it's going to benefit me a lot. But I look forward to next summer when I'm done with it.
How long is the education in total?
Yeah, to complete the bachelor, it's 3 years.
Okay.
And then you can take a master's afterwards. And I'll see later if I feel like I need that. It, kind of depends on what I want to do. But I don't think I need that at the moment. So I'm just looking to finish the bachelor.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens from there. Then after that, after next summer, I'll go all in on YouTube and fitness and my online coaching projects and
That's
all of
cool.
that. Yeah, it's going to be great.
That's really cool. Yeah, another thing I guess we share in common, common interest we share is I really like the anatomy of the body as well. How the muscles respond to working out, doing different exercises, I guess. I just never really took it to your level, but not, it wasn't because I wasn't that interested in it. I was just interested in other things too. But I always found anatomy really exciting as well.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite courses at the university as well. So yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, really cool. You're doing online coaching as well, I know. You've been doing that ever since the beginning, right? Like ever since you started calisthenics?
Not exactly, I would say, but in some way, I guess, because what I experienced when my video blew up and I started making tutorials, like beginners tutorials and all that, I experienced a lot of people reaching out, wanting to get my help personally, apart from all the free content I make. So I actually, in the beginning, one of the first things I did was set up like Skype meetings with people as
so
like,
cool.
consultations.
Yeah.
That was like one of the first, how do you say, entrepreneur business kind of things I did.
Yeah.
Then I set up a website and started selling ready-made workout programs.
Yep, I remember
and that
those.
was probably the first experience I had, like, in entrepreneur wise, where I did something that I had worked on for a long time, because it took a long time to design the workout program and all that. And my experience back then was that that website really blew up, and that really opened up a lot of opportunities. That's really the reason why I had the opportunity to travel as much as I did, and purchase my own apartment and move away from my parents' place and all that. So that website was really important, and I still get messages from people saying how much that first program helped them.
Yep.
And looking back at it, I can see I put a lot of effort into it, and it's not a bad program and all that, but it's not the same as helping people on a more personal level.
No, definitely.
So in 2019, I started doing online coaching for real, where I get clients and make, personalized workout and nutrition plans for them based on their diet preferences and, if they have allergies, and I calculate their energy intake, based on their basal metabolic rates and their activity levels, and I'm designing the workout programs after, what kind of equipment they have access to, if they have a gym or if they, do home workouts and all that. So that's more in depth, and that's where, I can see that people get really good results compared to like ready-made PDF file programs and stuff like that. So that's really and I really love that work, especially because of the personal interaction I get to have with especially people who's been following me for a very long time. Suddenly I'm talking to them on the phone and, helping them out and all that. So that's really awesome. And that's really what I want to do a lot in the next many years.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I was gonna say those ready-made programs, I bought it. And I think
you got my program back
I got your program, yeah.
Oh,
it was
that's awesome.
the level system, right? Where
exactly.
When you failed a level, you dropped down 4 levels, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I used that for my first year, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so I remember that very clearly.
That's awesome.
Again, I'm not lying when I told you you inspired me, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Appreciate it.
I want to dive a little bit more into your entrepreneurial side. I mean, I know from personal experiences that having the discipline to work out and do calisthenics, it helps you in an entrepreneurial way, because you have to have discipline and the willingness to work hard when you start a business. And I assume you have felt that too.
Yeah, for sure.
That wow, I completely brain farted right there.
No, yeah, it's no problem.
I forgot I forgot what I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, no problem. But it's like when you set goals in terms of working out, if there are specific things you want to learn, like different skills, and then you work hard and you actually get the experience of succeeding in something, then whoa, you just got your first muscle up. That's like an awesome moment for a lot of people. That's a good way to learn that basically that, as cliche as it may sound, that, hard work actually pays off, and it can, pay off to put a lot of work into something to get you closer to your goals. And you can use that in a lot of other aspects of your life, like setting up a business or stuff like that. So I definitely think that goes hand in hand for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I can totally relate to that. I literally could not imagine what my life would look like right now if I hadn't started working out, because back before I started working out, I had zero discipline at all. I didn't do anything. I literally didn't do anything with my life. So I can definitely contribute, starting calisthenics, starting to work out, to getting discipline and that willingness to work hard. It's a crazy crossover, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's like, when you work out, it's not just about, becoming the best version of yourself for yourself. It's also the impact it's going to have on other people around you and all that. So, yeah, obviously, in the end, regardless of your goals, if it's, to get bigger muscles and learn these different things, in the end, it's about well-being, I think, and getting, a success experience from what you do, and using that in other aspects of your life to get you further in life. That's what I feel about it, at least.
Yeah, I completely agree. Definitely. Before we wrap up, I have one final question. It's totally unrelated to anything we've talked about, but I had to know, where did you meet Funishala? I have to know this.
Yeah, that's a funny story. So for those who don't know, he's like a Danish influencer. He also
troll, a prankster.
Yeah, he's like a prankster, and he had a viral hit as well. So we kind of had that in common, and I really found him hilarious, especially that one viral hit he made. So I think, yeah, I met him actually at the workout park outside where I work out in my area. And then, yeah, he was just there as well. And then I kind of looked over at him. And at the same time, we pointed at each other and we said, like, aren't you that guy with that viral video?
Oh
and
my God,
we kind of
it's
said
like
it
on
at
the
the same
movies.
time. Yeah, it was pretty funny. And yeah, that's how that friendship started, because we also had, calisthenics and working out as a common interest. And then, of course, YouTube. And we took a lot of, we make a lot of jokes about, being famous
Yeah.
in that sense, because, neither of us are famous like that. But we had some, we had a little contest going of which of us was getting recognized most times during a workout. Yeah, so we had a lot of fun with that. And we also went to like a YouTube award show together.
That's cool. Do you get recognized a lot?
I wouldn't say a lot. I would say I get recognized to a satisfying degree, I would say, because
a healthy degree.
Yeah, a healthy degree. It's like, it can be anything from just, in Copenhagen where I live, or the weirdest places. Like I was in the Maldives in 2018 on like a local island with only 300 people living there. And then we stayed at like a resort, and someone called for me and said there was someone outside who wanted to talk to me, and then I came out, and then he said, the guy outside said, "But Chris," he said, and then I was laughing, and that was really fun. And he was like a hotel manager type. And he was having a lot of his guests from his hotel out on like a sightseeing on the island. And he just wanted to show all those people where I was staying, because, in his eyes, I was like, a YouTube celebrity type. And so that was a very surreal moment.
Wow.
But a lot of fun. Yeah, it was so random. So sometimes, and also in New Zealand, I had a few days where I stayed by myself, actually, in Auckland, where I just had some days there for myself, and I was just eating a burger on Queen Street. And then just, some guy come up to me and he's like, "Aren't you that guy from YouTube? Aren't you Christian?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm Chris." "Yeah, nice to meet you." And then we had a talk and all that. So yeah, it's, but it's in a way that I can imagine how, rough it must be if you were actually famous. Like if, Hollywood level famous, that must be absolutely horrible. Because if I got recognized like 10 times the amount of what I do now, it would be very annoying. So yeah, I just feel like, whenever people meet me, they can just feel free to come over and say hi, because yeah, that's just always a good time.
Yeah, that's cool. That's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. Anyway, that's where we're gonna wrap it. I really appreciate you coming on, Chris.
Yeah, it was a great time. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you. And yeah, maybe we'll catch up again sometime in the future on
I would love that
episode.
Yeah. Thanks for the viewers, the listeners. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing and commenting. And again, the viewer question of today, the very controversial question: calisthenics versus weightlifting, which is better? Let me know in the comment section down below. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's about it. Peace.